be assisting with the live chat feed. Hi, Sonia. And if you have any questions about anything that I share about the content or our mystery school or how to get the Sophia Code book, any questions about the jewelry that I've designed, feel free to just reach out, and our team angels are happy to take care of you. So we're just gonna hang out for a few minutes. I got a little bit of a later start today. I've been in meetings since 7 a.m. So this is just my second wind of the day. And I'm just gonna, be gentle with myself about all of that, and grateful for your patience. And yes, today is Beltane. So happy May Day, everyone, on this side of the world. And just good to see everybody popping in and saying hello. Good to see everyone. So happy. Yeah, Renee is asking, do I need to do Stargate too to do Sophia Circle leadership? So great question, Renee. What Renee is asking about in the live chat is we have an upcoming leadership training that's starting in this August 2020, and that's to become a certified Sophia Circle facilitator of Sophia Circle Journeys, which is a program that I developed where you, as a facilitator, can walk your clients and community through a 13-week, or better yet, 13 Sophia Circle journey. It could happen over a period of 13 weeks, a period of 13 months, or every 2 weeks. The timing is determined by what works for your own schedule. But with your certification, you receive a facilitator's manual given to us directly from the Ascended Masters. I channeled it last year, and bonjour, Sarah from Paris. I love seeing our beautiful French community dialing in, because we're getting that French translation of the Sophia Code ready this year, working with our publisher to produce that. We actually went back and redid almost all of the translation to ensure that it was of the highest integrity. We brought in an additional translator, and I'm really excited about the results. It was a rough go at first with the process of, the Sophia Code is not an easy book to translate into any foreign language. It's formidable. It's a formidable project for any translating company to undertake, and so we finally found our rhythm towards the middle of last year, and I'm happy to report that it will be released, the French translation of Sophia Code, this year. I know that everybody wants the Sophia Code in all of their languages, and I feel super blessed and grateful that you do. And for those of you who are really interested in having the Sophia Code translated into your language of origin, the best way to advocate for that is to contact your top spiritual publishing house of your country, whether that's Spain or Russia or Japan, and start submitting requests for those publishing houses to contact us, because we cannot work with individual translators. It's way too time consuming. And we are already running an international mystery school, international ministry. It's just like, we're not a publishing house yet. I self-published the Sophia Code, which was a feat in and of itself in my own language, and recorded the audiobook in our own language. But anything from here on out is going to have to involve a lot of help from a lot of other people. So it's not just like one person that's like, hey, I'm really good at Spanish. I love metaphysical teachings. I want to help you. It's like, we love you and bless you, but we need to actually work with the companies that have the human power to produce at a large context and distribute, not just translate. So the publishing process is very, very intense, and especially when you're dealing with foreign translations. So that's the best way to advocate for the Sophia Code being translated in your language of choice. It has to be a very reputable and a spiritual publishing house that has the capacity to handle the international response that the Sophia Code elicits, just by nature of what it is. So that's a little bit about that. I see that we're starting to gather our beautiful community. It looks we're about like halfway there. We're usually averaging around 200, so we're just going to hang out for a few more minutes, have a little bit of a sip of water for a second. So, getting back to your question, Sophia Circle leadership, what is required is the Stargate 1 curriculum. And here's why. Because the Stargate 1 and the Stargate 1 curriculum is actually included in your purchase of the training program. It's because everything that you experience in the Stargate 1 curriculum is what your clients and community are going to experience when they step into a Sophia Circle journey with a certified leader. So our blueprint for leadership in the Sophia Code Mystery School is it's an embodied leadership. You can only authentically lead from your willingness to be vulnerable enough to have your own inner journey with this material first. This material is here to completely rearrange everything inside of you. And there's a lot of feelings involved with that. There's a lot of pushing and pulling. There's even the pushing away and then being magnetized back to this work. It's because it is that it triggers the release of so much unresolved and unconsciously held pain so that you can actually step into, honestly, the very affronting truth of your sovereign divinity. And like Sophia says this right out of the gates in chapter 1 of the Sophia Code. She's like, this is going to be affronting to your consciousness, but I know everything about you because I gave birth to you. And I love you unconditionally. And there's nothing that you can do or say that isn't happening inside of my consciousness. It's like our ego structure likes to think we live in this little private prison cell. Really, it is a prison cell, the ego structure. And it likes to, think that we're completely isolated in our human experience. And it's just simply untrue. You are constantly and always in the all-loving presence of Sophia God. And that same presence recreated himself, as a hologram of your soul, what we call the oversoul in the Sophia Code. So when you begin this journey with the Sophia Code, you go on this dragon ride of a pendulum swing between I'm not good enough and this is absolutely crazy. I can't believe this about myself or about humanity, and I don't need this. And then, wow, I don't know if I'm good enough to receive this good news. It's like the back and the forth and the back and the forth. And if you take the Stargate 1 curriculum journey, what happens in that journey is you immerse yourself in the resonance of the Sophia Code long enough that you get through enough pendulum swings that you're able to find your center and discover the joy of embodying your higher self, even with all of your feelings about it. It's just like you identify that your spiritual journey is not about a spiritual high. You identify that your spiritual journey is going to have spiritual highs, spiritual lows, but that all of those things are rising in temporal phenomena that are it's just your ego structure experiencing the drawing in and the pulling back from the truth of your divinity. Eventually, when your ego structure and those wounded places within you start to integrate within the light of your divinity more and more, that just takes time, practice, and staying in the resonance of the codex, staying in the mystery school, doing all the classes. It's not like you have to, you can do all of the homework, but it's really about allowing the transmission, especially in that first Stargate 1 curriculum, to really work on you, to do some heavy lifting for you while you are also doing that inner work. So the next question Renee is asking, how do I get to the August Leadership Circle program? Do I still have time? Yes. So what you're going to do is on my website, kaia.com, there's a drop-down menu called Shop. And at the bottom, there is the Sophia Circle Leadership sales page. And you can click where it says apply now, and you can apply now. We don't actually officially launch the campaign to letting people know that this is available for another couple weeks. So if you do apply now and you are accepted to the program, you will be able to register at the early pre-launch sale price for the Sophia Circle Leadership Program, which is a steal. It is such a generous leadership training, and feel free to reach out and email us directly at contact@kaia.com, and we're happy to set up a free Team Angel call with you so that you can learn more about this very powerful leadership training course that's going to certify you so that you are allowed to share the good news of the Sophia Code with others, receive an income for doing that, and also be a part of our team, our international movement, leading side by side with our team angels. It's like, we have nothing but the highest respect for our Sophia Circle leaders, because we know that they're out there in the trenches with us, right on the front lines of evolving consciousness and taking the risk to share about this work and to create a safe space. Really, that's what that's really what it takes. It's like, we're out there evolving consciousness that doesn't want to necessarily, it unconsciously wants to transcend, but consciously it's stuck in patterns, ego structure and wounding that's like, nah, I want to stagnate. Nah, I'd rather just hang out where I am. I'm uncomfortably comfortable. And so the role of a Sophia Circle leader is to create a safe space for that Sophia Code to come and be the lightning bolt that wakes up people that are really ready to step into the depth of this work. And that facilitator's manual has all of the pieces of each Sophia Circle. So you're not making anything up. That doesn't mean it's not a creative experience, but it does mean that there are certain safety protocols, both for yourself and for the people that are attending the Sophia Circle journey, that really creates a safe and professional. This is all about being a truly professional, divine feminine leader with the tools that we provide in that program. So it's a really exciting program, and it's a really exciting opportunity to be part of our international ministry. And we're really excited that you're asking about that, Renee. So feel free to reach out to our team angels and learn more. Let's see, what else do I want to make for an announcement today before we get going? I think we're gonna get going with a little bit of an introduction as to something that was coming through before the call. I'm just gonna have another sip of water here. Oh my goodness, very thirsty today. All right, so, okay, Des Davis is asking, I'm interested in Stargate 2 for leadership. Do I need to take Stargate 1? Not necessarily. Stargate 2 is a standalone program, but what's interesting about Stargate 2 is that you're not going to get the depth of oracular training that is encoded into Stargate 1. So Stargate 2 teaches you the processes, the practices, the altar practices, the Ascended Master mentorship that really sets apart the elegant equation of divine feminine Christ leadership. It's like, if you're steeped in an understanding and being really activated by the Sophia Code first and mentoring with the Ascended Masters, the elegant equation, Stargate 2 is going to make a lot more sense. Because Stargate 2 is all about leading others from what you've already experienced in your awakening of embodying your higher self by mentoring with these specific Ascended Masters. These two programs truly build on each other. And even in this year, when we did the 2020 Vision Mentor Journey, what we've been doing is we've been revisiting these curriculums with live calls, which we've kept the temple gates open because we've had such an overwhelming response of people wanting to step into this mystery school and catch as many live calls as possible for 2020. And of course, you would have access to all the replays. But what I love about the feedback that I'm receiving through the Silver and Golden Dragon Mentor Journeys is like, hello, how much people are getting, how much our initiates are, how much more they're getting by returning to the Stargate 1 curriculum and then returning to Stargate 2 and beginning them again. And it's the same thing with the Sophia Code. It's like every time you read the Sophia Code, you're reading a new book, because you've become a new person so that you can actually digest more, integrate more, Yes, Brooke is asking, is Stargate One the same thing as the Mystery School? Great question, Brooke. So the Sophia Code Mystery School is made up right now of 3 essential programs. The first is Stargate One. That is the journey to embody your higher self and how to mentor with the Ascended Masters of the Sophia Code as taught here, not by anybody else, not anybody else's blueprint for working with the Ascended Masters. Stargate One is based on my entire life history with the Ascended Masters and passing that over to you. Stargate 2 is based on my entire life history of leading from Sophia Christ consciousness. And I started writing a book during that curriculum called The Elegant Equation of Divine Feminine Christ Leadership. So that naturally builds upon Stargate 1, because once you've been integrating and embodying your higher self long enough in the Stargate 1 curriculum, you have this overwhelming desire to want to fulfill a divine purpose to help others do the same in some way. And so for those who are naturally spiritually, they're naturally drawn to spiritual leadership, that's why the 3rd program was developed, which was Sophia Circle Leadership, because what we identified was that so many people were coming to us and they were saying, Kaia, how do we lead with the Sophia Code in a way that honors your internationally registered trademarks? We know this is your life work. We know that you sacrificed your entire life to bring forward this mystery school. We want to be leading side by side with you, but we don't know how to do it in a way that really honors everything that you've done. And it was just so beautiful that so many of those requests came in. And it's such a natural progression, because if you embody your higher self long enough, you mentor with these Ascended Masters long enough, you do the Stargate 1 curriculum, and you start kicking out the fears and anxieties about being seen as a leader, you're going to want to lead with the Sophia Code, because the Sophia Code is going to amplify